on such a beautiful evening. And we, Fun Party, are happy to welcome Ryan Bender-Murphy, Lisa Moore, and Noah Eli Gordon. And first, we'd like to welcome Ryan, and John Michael's going to do our introductions.
Thanks, guys. So, Ryan Bender-Murphy is our first reader. He's the author of First Man on Mars, Phantom Limb Press. His poems have also appeared in Better, Everyday Genius, Flag Void. I never know if that's Flag plus Void or just Flag Void. Fucking literary journals. Okay. Front Porch, Phantom Limb, Spork, and Other Mysterious Places. The editor of Hardly Donuts. A great title. A new literary journal that aims to showcase challenging and experimental narrative poetry and microfiction. Please welcome Ryan.
Thank you. After the bombing, Santa did not know how to react to the sight. He only stared. At the granite block, there were 3 rows filled with 10 men, each of whom was Santa. The only thing that really differentiated them was the variation of facial hair, with the goatee Santa looking the worst. All of them hummed. Finally, Santa asked, "Who are you?" All of the Santas shifted their heads to him, debris gliding from the granite, and said, "Who are you?" "I'm Santa," said Santa. Then the Santas replied in a single chant, "I'm Santa." "How do I get out of here?" asked Santa. "Why do you need to get out of here?" asked the Santas. "I need to go to work," said Santa. He looked around in the visible darkness. "I need," the Santas hummed, a meditative gesture, and a gust blew across Santa's face. The warm air felt inspiring, so Santa continued. "I can't just live in a cave forever, right?" The Santas replied, "What do you want?" "Well, I wanted an empire, but now I'm not so sure," said Santa. The granite made a churning sound, stretching its exterior just a bit, as though Santa's words activated a switch. This must be the way out, thought Santa, and he felt his way to the opening. The coldness of the stone shocked him at first, but soon he found the opening, after pressing his hands into several faces of the Santas. Once Santa was inside, the granite closed around him, leaving his head above the surface. He felt a rhythm in his head that probably was always there, and began to hum in a chorus with the others. A download thickens in my fist. It cannot be strangled. It only knows to grow into a black void, viscous. Someone waits in line to see it, and as my fingers burst, someone else pays someone to wait in line to see it. Soon I am covered by what cannot be known, and right before it absorbs my whole face, I release a muffled squeal. Buildings begin to rotate 180 degrees. When I walk throughout the bits unmeasured, overwhelmed by their moisture, I see faint and faceless creatures. They stack themselves into a pyramid. They dismantle and disembark, fading into nests of glowing white lines. Half bodies, half streets, and half grasses crackle above and below me, flashing rapidly through spiraling static. "You shouldn't have done this," says a metallic, disembodied voice. "You shouldn't have done this." Three mammals. I couldn't breathe when he lifted a glass pane over his head. someone else appeared, and she held aside with a sigh the pain. The sun beat it, the pain. We were all barefoot, and the wind felt barefoot too. I crawled beneath the glass pane, even though I was told to stop, to get out from under there. And would I at least give a hand? The sun kept beating the glass. The grass grew warmer until one day we were crossing over sand. There was no water. We had miles to go. In slow motion, the screen in Times Square slides out of the sheath as the white eyes of night leap to meet their maker. Desk overlooking people. Someone whacks your face with an umbrella until it rains. Never to approach X. The warm fist of a spelling error floats to touch your cheek, where your skin was stitched. This can escape you now, intimates the fist, and gravel carpets the floor. I stare for days at what falls out. The briefcase collects dew. Nothing keeps my questions at bay. The sea, as it shapes over my head, rises and rises. Rivulets of dreams wriggle like the legs of a centipede. These protect me from all dangers. In the dojo, after one hit to the left, a firework spins on the pavement, burning off my shoes, making lawn chairs wetter than usual. Son in a video game. Now it's thinking, somehow unscripted, so it glides in gusts never felt, past grids aquatic. Cheering onlookers can't stop their claps. Wave after wave, jet ski racers within white strips shred. Rope-like flames twirl and rove. The wave racers splash. Their wet-suited bodies yellow as the sun engulfs them. Only yellow remains, and its thin spherical border presses outward. I watch it on the monitor in my living room. My father lifts my arms and removes my soaked shirt, sliding on another. He waves a toothbrush in a distant quadrant. When I look to him, my eyes are nothing but white, and fires light in my pores. Every plant in the neighborhood begins to shake. After a few emails, wiping the mud from his sepulcher, the dynasty's dingo admits you. And finally, drink in hand, I tell you where I grew up. Split screen. The goblin bled thick red numbers, and I couldn't stop slashing. Do you understand, Jake? A critical blow. Yep. I took a few fruits and several locks of children's hair from the goblin's corpse. So then what do you want to do about it? I switched from my sword to the mace and ran towards another goblin. I don't know. I needed to collect several of their heads. My idea is hard to explain without a diagram, but basically we could hold each other and kiss each other without being in the same room. I bagged the final head and walked to the tavern at the end of the hills. The sun was setting like the sun outside my window. I just need to know that you won't think I'm weird for making this suggestion. At the tavern, 3 tall, bearded men sat at a table, and a woman wearing a green dress and black gloves stood behind the counter. A yellow exclamation mark floated over her head. I right-clicked, and after quickly scrolling through her nonsense about a brother killed by goblins, I received 8 gold coins and 350 experience points. My girlfriend sighed over the phone. Anyway, we would need to buy a few things, plant a few seeds, wire a few circuits, and we'll learn how to combine a human body with a living organism that we create out of electricity. I looked up from the computer and spun around in my chair. Say that again. The ceiling fan swirled like a whirlpool over my head. Say what? Everyone wanted a bicycle. The gelatinous boulder, blue skin, grows beyond the blades of the playground. Homeowners continue their calls. They press fingers into screens a bit more forcefully. Aftermath. Out of this cloud, the cyclists, cracked from pink eggs, onto bluffs plop, throwing themselves into a kicking machine, a system of robotic legs decked out with the latest sneakers, creating hordes of new bananas. Beyond mouths full of cave berries, beyond servants with cloths flapping migratory, beyond the toaster that leaped out of itself, bananas are whipped into customers tied to chairs. A ceiling fan circles, and the last meat grinder in the world asks me to ask for her autograph. My investigation begins. Supply and demand. George had never seen a soda dispenser empty, but the thought had barely manifested when his hairy paw reached into the screen and pulled out the gray circle that read Diet Coke. It squirmed in his fist, angling to glide back into the screen, but George's iron grip obstinately squeezed. The gray circle, however, did not suffocate, and instead puffed out, extending its diameter nearly 20 feet, floating next to George as it sucked in all the air around him. Plates and chairs rattled out of place, soy sauce bottles shattered. George stood his ground. Then a table, the very one he often shared with his wife, knocked him into the gray circle. For each enter you press, a single tear greases the panels of time. Just get by. I get lost in my email and focus for so long on the beach background. Sometimes that is what gets me through the week. knowing that the ocean will keep turning as more emails appear, that the beautiful blue wave will grow as the window does. It will grow so much that I will forget that I am even working, even responding to the requests to work. All of this happens for a split second, the one in which atoms expand, somehow to account for the heart I have been granted, the language I have been given, the broomstick I ride now, poking holes into the sky, clicking boots. A small island appears in my heart, in a small lawn chair, in a small beach ball, in a small table with a small book and a small sandwich. When tissues tear and men snap, the small island grows into a continent that houses love and only love. I sleep in half of myself and stay awake breathing the salty air and lying in the lawn chair that has grown into a bed. Everyone whom I have ever wanted to talk to touches my head, and it feels like time has touched me, granting me an eternity to grow in its fields. All right, this is the last one, so thank you all for listening. Rats paddle quietly into the night. The parasol stands erect, at attention, but it will not lend its handle to you. And the lava, if you had to guess, will not stop slouching, pushing your awkward dinner party over the edge of a cliff. Why were you here anyway? What glass did you crack in a dream, thinking it was your hand? Thank you.